What's up, guys? Wanted to make a video, first official video in the new apartment. I still got a few shit that I'm working on to move away. Hopefully that changes, but technically it never does, right? Like there's always gonna be probably some shit that's gonna be laying around knowing me. Anyways, just woke up from a mad long nap. I was supposed to sleep for like 20-30 minutes, but I just like slept away. Anyways, wanted to shout at the camera about a topic that I've been working on, sniping away one client by one client, and I could say that I pretty much could conclude that I'm really good at this one aspect of a topic that every SEO or a lot of SEOs face as winter approaches, and that is, how do you justify to your clients that they should be paying you throughout the winter? Now, this is a topic that's, again, brushed away by the gurus completely. Like, as in the space, I get the idea that, I get the feeling that, the main, the top gurus out there are always saying that, oh, it shouldn't be even a topic at hand. There's just stupid clients. You should not even having this problem. You just set the expectation wrong and stuff like that. But in my experience, even with a bunch of clients now, I touched on this topic before when I barely had clients. Now I'm touching on it now when I have a good amount of clients. It's still a topic, right? It's still in the back of my head. As winter is approaching, I still think like, which are the clients that I feel the need to solidify the hardest? Let me start with them. And that's what I've been doing. Over the last month, I've been contacting some of my clients, especially the ones that I haven't been speaking to for a couple of months. I've been contacting them and kind of having a good, solid conversation for me to get a reading for where they stand with my services, right? So let me begin. Number one, first of all, innately, this is something that overlaps in the topic of client retention / expectation setting. Depending on when you got the client, like if you recently just got a client, they shouldn't be expecting results through the winter, right? It's November. If you recently got a client, they should be, March, April, whatever, minimum of 6 months, I would say. I sometimes say like 3 months if I see certain characteristics in the business they already have and they just need little tweaks and I know it's going to be, high chance they're going to be shooting up. I sometimes say 3 months, but even that, I don't recommend it, right? Because just for overall purposes, especially nowadays that SEO does take a bit longer time, things are slower in my experience to get indexed and etc. like that. A minimum of 6 months is a good buffer. But to get back to the point, the first thing innately is that this is something that has to be solidified during the expectation setting time, which is when the sale is done, right? When you set the expectation of how long the results are going to take and the communication you have with them, you're supposed to solidify this kind of, like, a lot of this problem, this situation, this issue, concern, topic, right there. But if you haven't, the things I'm about to show you the other tips I'm going to show you is going to help, right? But that's where it starts. Understand that, right? In your sales process, however you're selling them, you should have some key pointers that lets them know that this is something that's all year round. The first thing, the easiest thing that I can show you how to do that is showing a contract, right? Even if you're not going to put them on a contract, meaning, if you make them sign a contract, that's obviously solidified already, right? That's no question. But what I would recommend is, as they're coming on and saying the fact that, look, as we know, SEO is something that is all year round, right? This is something that goes on. You want to be consistently working on this and improving, and this is an asset you build. So we would recommend us getting a contract, for us getting on both terms of exactly what we are going to be doing for you and what you can expect from us. But we actually took away contracts earlier on. I'm doing a bad job of explaining this, but basically you're telling them that, look, you explain to them the idea of the nature of SEO, how it works. They already probably expect to get into this year round, because that's how everybody else is selling it, right? That's how the industry already laid the standards. Probably one of the only good reputation standards the industry has set, right? Because most of the other reputation for SEO in general is kind of shitty. But anyways, once you set that, you show that, hey, we normally get on a contract, but we're willing to wait this up. So you can see this on a month-to-month, because we believe in our, performance. You can see what we do for our clients. And since we like to be in a performance basis where we don't want to hold you binding with some kind of risk, we're willing to start this on a month-to-month basis to see how things go forward, and then we can get on a solid contract later, right? This way, I realize that you don't get them all scared away because they have to sign a contract. You establish that this is something that they hands down do year round. I mean, it's almost a favor. You're letting them do it month to month, so there should be no question when the winter comes or something like that. And then also the other side of it is, if you do want to do a contract in the future, you can kind of more easily put that up without having to surprise them. Because if you don't mention anything like this whatsoever and you are not doing contracts, you're just doing month to month, if you suddenly come up to your long-term clients one day and you're like, hey, we need to do contracts, it's going to be a little difficult, right? They're going to be like, why? They're not going to be used to it. They're going to be taking it as a surprise, and they might not take it as nicely, right? As smoothly. But if you do mention it like this and they come on board, it's still the same stuff. It still helps you make the sale because it's something you can offer, let's say, like temporary, like if you sign up today, so it can be part of that thing. It's one of the best things I realize you can do, right? So there you go, one practical way to squeeze that in right in the sales process. All right, great. Now, what happens if you didn't do that? All right, or even if you did do something like that, other things you can do to make this stronger. So let me pause this and I think, because I'm... All right, guys, my mind's completely going blank. The other day when I was thinking about making this video, originally, I had a lot more pointers that I was thinking about, like, okay, like a couple pointers, but I was actually in the middle of doing it at that time, so should have recorded it then. But this time, I'm just gonna go to the main pointers, probably 2 more practical things you could be doing to help you with this topic. And then the last thing that I'm going to mention is the most powerful thing you can be doing. And it actually doesn't have anything to do with directly this topic, but it is the most powerful thing to do. So let's get to that. Secondly, upsells, right? What I like to call is like fake upsells. I mean, they are legitimate upsells, but it's almost like upsells that you can kind of expect them to say no to. So let me explain. Winter's coming, you're looking at your client list. Okay, maybe one of these 2 guys, you're gonna get started to schedule them in for a talk, right? I don't know how you guys do your reporting. A lot of the stuff, a lot of people do it automatically monthly, stuff like that. My one is not automatically monthly. It's kind of like built in through emails and stuff. But what I consider actual reporting is times when I get on a screen share with them. I get on a solid call with them, right? So if I had to put a time to it, again, because I know everybody likes to hear, but okay, how often do you do it and stuff like that? I would just like quarterly, like once a quarter on average, I get on a good call with my clients to talk about everything how it's been going on, right? So recently, when I did it with a bunch of my clients, it's basically with the top clients, biggest clients, to get confirmation that they are feeling completely comfortable with everything, how it's going, and it's going to continue to do so in the winter, right? To establish that, I kind of pushed that a little far. I mean, pushed for that a little bit harder. Some of them I haven't been speaking to for well over 4 or 5 months, right? So I made sure that we get a solid talk in right now to get a reading for where they stand with me as a whole. And while I approach that call, hey, how's things been going? Just want to get on a call. Sometime are you free this weekend to go over some of the stuff? There's been an algorithm change. I just throw some stuff in there. And then when they get on the call, I showed them, very soft sell, what we've been doing for some other clients, right? So I showed them another client where we have more than one location, how it's been working out. If they would like, I remember that you mentioned this city. Would you like to go for that? Basically, it's like you're setting them up like, hey, would you like to start spending more? If they do, it's great. It's a valid upsell. It's not like I'm just like, like showing them some bullshit. It's a valid upsell. I show them another city that we can go for, and it will help them out. But if they do say no, it's almost by default, they kind of establish the winter, right? More established winter. Because if everything makes sense for them to even consider going forward, no, we'd like to see it like this now, see how things are going. I'm like, cool. What we can be expecting is getting higher for these. This is what we're expecting. This is what we're doing for the winter. Blah blah blah, and you can move on, and that's an easy way, right? So that's another practical way. Very very smoothly, you can basically tackle this topic if you're kind of thinking about this issue. Number 3. Let's see. Number 2 was the upsell. Number 1 was sales. Number 2 was the sort of like the fake upsell, real upsell. fake slash real upsell, whatever you want to call it. And number three, I would say this is huge. This is super powerful. And this kind of goes hand in hand with two topics, right? First one is going to be this. Sharing with them the future of their business. This is something that I kind of accidentally began to realize that almost every client that I have really likes to talk about, right? As business owners, we are automatically enthusiasts of the future. We like to see, like, we look forward to it, right? If you just see entrepreneurs in general, right? Across the board, putting all like personalities aside, we are people who really love to take things by the rein and write the future, you could say, right? They like to be in control of it. So same shit with your business, like with the business we serve, if not more, right? They've probably been around then longer than our agency. I mean, most of us, as let's say we're starting this out, haven't been in the industry for too long, whatever. Most of the clients I serve have been in business longer than me, right? This is second year for me. They've probably been in business for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, right? So they are more used to this idea of, hey, what's going to happen? What do we plan to do in the future, right? Especially it's a brick and mortar business. It's I think they think of it a bit more, right? As time passes, how marketing changes, stuff like that. They are a bit less on the blink of marketing than us. So they kind of think about this a bit more, I think, if that makes sense. Let me just cut it right there instead of getting on a rant. The point is this. Talking about the future is a huge way for us to set that expectation that they're going to keep us for the long term. And this is not just about passing this winter or something like that. This is literally about your 3 to 5 year plan, guys. Like, this is massively powerful. Being able to have a communication with your clients where you can show them, hey, look, this is how things are changing. This is what we're going to be doing forward. This is what we do right now. You can actually almost systematically plan it out in a 6 month, 2 year, 5 year understanding. Meaning that, let's say I'm talking to a client who's in a city, right? I'll say like, all right, look, through the winter, we realized that in the patterns in the past, these 2 top competitors that are currently at the top slow down. So it's a really good time for us to start focusing on these kind of keywords so we can get that moving. And try to, if you haven't been showing practical things you guys are doing, this might be a good time that you start to show some. You get it? Like, you gotta kind of balance things out depending on how is it you do other aspects of your reporting. Like my reporting, I don't show much activity, as in, hey, this is the social media accounts we just built this month. This is the citations we built. I kind of stay away from them. I just show them the calls they're getting, the traffic they're bringing, the insights from GMB, stuff like that, right? To make this call a little stronger, I could show them like one aspect of it. Hey, look, this is something integrated we built for another client. Maybe it's a drive stack, something that's solid. They can feel, touch, well, technically not feel, touch, but at least see something completely different than what they're seeing, and that makes sense to them. Right? You bring another layer of reporting to it, and it's not shooting yourself in the foot at all, right? It's just one time, and maybe it's something you're gonna have to do anyways for them. Usually that should be the case, right? Something you're gonna build out and you do plan to build out, or maybe something you built out already, you just haven't shown. However you want to do it. But all I'm trying to say is a point where align something on a different level of reporting that you haven't been showing, and then attach that with the future. Hey, look, we plan on building this out for you to the winter so we can tackle this idea, and always attach it to the bigger ideas, right? Usually to competitors. That's the easiest way to do it, right? These are people that they think about, in a day-to-day life. And when you mention it, this is what we plan to do as they are, kind of like taking it slowly because it's winter, then we plan to make these moves and get ahead. Boom. Very, very powerful. Now, having that said, I want to stay, like basically extend this. Like I said, it's going to be 2 ideas in one. The second part of this is overall sharing your journey. I realize is a huge way. It's getting really dark now. Fuck. I always start the video when it's like actually in the process of fucking syncing. But the second part of this, okay? So showing the future, what it entails, what we plan to do for 6 months, and how it could affect us for the longer term, 2, 3 years. I have now conversations with my clients that's 3 years ahead. Like the last, 3, 4 clients I had a conversation of, 2 of them I brought this topic up. Like I said, like, and what we basically bring it up, like what I've seen is in the long term, 2 to 3 year mark, if we set this kind of foundation, we're going to have this kind of wins. I just set that out there. One of them bought it really well. The other one was like, okay, whatever the point is, I set it out there to start laying out the seeds for the longer term. All right. So the second part of this, as I was going to say, is the part about sharing your journey. This is something I realized that nobody talks about, okay? And nobody likes to. And I don't know why. I don't know why people like completely treat your clients as if it's somebody is just like a complete burden to even speak with them once a year or something. It shouldn't be like that. You need to, part of it actually goes down to dropping your expectations, right? You shouldn't hate working with your clients. You should be completely happy talking to them at least once a quarter, all right? It's not a race to how fast you can grow an agency by how little you talk to your clients. I don't think you should be looking at it like that, right? But that's another topic. What I wanted to get to, the second part of this, is sharing your journey. Again, this is something that's huge. And the benefits you can get from doing this simple thing is astonishing. Basically, every time you hit your clients up, whatever, share a little bit of your journey. I mean, not every time, but from time to time, plan it out and share what's been going on with your life. I just went to an event. Hey, we just went to an event. This is what was broken down. These are the changes that are coming in the industry. These are the algorithm changes. This is how we think it can affect our business, how it can affect local search. These are new things that are coming out. We think we can be integrating like this. We're now testing to find out what works better. Be upfront. We're not like, this is not like a future ball. They understand this. We are SEOs. We are, basically people who are testing in the market to make sure to keep them at the best position to dominate in their fields, in their city, etc. We're not like, you don't have to pretend to be like know it all right at the start. As soon as the algorithm changes, you don't have to like give them all the answers. I tell them, hey, look, this is what came out. This is what is changing. Like, these are the things we're doing. So within about this much time, we're gonna find out what's working. And I share with them, actually the things that I'm seeking to find answers to, I let them know exactly that, right? Hey, look, yes, with the Google My Business, this is how it can be affecting, and I plan to go this direction. So I'll let you know once things are folding out, but this is what the changes that are happening. It sets a different tone. It sets actual culture, I think, in the company, right? In your agency, this is the beginning of setting culture. This lets them know that this person that they're paying is not just somebody who pulled out a price out of their ass. It lets them know that I'm a real person out there who's being able to flourish, and they are a part of it, right? Their monthly payment, along with other people that I have, is contributing for me to invest back, make trips, learn courses, and do tests that's eventually gonna come out with answers that's gonna help their business, right? It's not about just, oh, I'm gonna charge you $1,500, $1,200. It sets the tone differently. They start to put it in a perspective where they like to support you. Trust me, guys, this is huge, and I've felt this firsthand. And it's something I deliberately do now because I have accidentally done it with my best clients because I'm like friends with them, and then now I start to do it with the ones that I don't talk as much with either, and it works like a charm almost every single time. It has yet to fail. All right. So coming to the end of this video, what did I talk about? First, sales process. Second, fake upsell. Third, showing future setting, what we look to do in next 6 months, 1 year, how it can affect your business over the long run, domination, going forward, taking over more cities, future. Fourth thing, sharing your journey. Share your journey, who you are as a person, what you are spending your effort and energy into, and how it's going to unfold into their business. This, along with these 3-4 things, is you're in a powerful position. And here comes the last thing. The last aspect of it, which makes the entire thing possible. And that is simply to get more damn clients. In the beginning, when I had just 2 clients, I was shitting bricks. I was so afraid that one of these calls, they're going to say that they have to pause or cancel. I was making pretty much just enough money to pay for everything. As time passed and I got into about what, like 7, 8 clients, that started to go down. That inner pinchy feeling that one client could do, their power goes lower. Because when you have your entire thing built upon 7, 8 people, now it's less likely, especially if they're spread across, not just in niches, but also in, across America. It's less likely that all of them are going to just vanish overnight, right? So you start to feel a little better. And now after a good amount of clients, a couple more than just 7 or 8, I could say that it just only gets better. The more clients you get, the easier it's going to get with this. You're going to get more experience, you're going to get, all that stuff. But even if you don't improve in it, the reality is just having more clients is going to make it less of a toll on you overall. So that's why I call this, in the end, the most powerful thing you can possibly do is still get more clients. But hope this helped.